Welcome to CivilNet. My guest is Sheila Paylan, a Canadian legal advisor in human rights and international law. She joined the Armenian government as a specialist in human rights last January through the iGorts program established by the Office of the High Commissioner for Diaspora Affairs. Thank you for this interview, Sheila.
Thank you, Ani. Thanks for having me.
So you came when cases related to international law are numerous in Armenia following the Artsakh war. One of the cases that is really pressing here is the Armenian prisoners of war who are kept captive by Azerbaijan. What are you doing in this direction, and how do you help the government, the Armenian government, in this direction?
So I arrived January 9th, and that was just about a month before this office filed an interstate application against Azerbaijan on many, many issues. They filed on February 1st, and one of the many issues was that of the release of the POWs. Also, before I arrived, they had sought interim measures that was specifically related to this, and have been granted. There's an order, a standing order from the European Court of Human Rights in Strasbourg that Azerbaijan, well, both parties, but in this case, Azerbaijan has to respect the rule, which is, treat them well, treat the prisoners of war well. And at this point now, it's really just the issue they need to be released. So I think there's a common misconception that the Armenian government isn't doing anything about it, and that somehow the fact that they're not released is the Armenian government's fault. I mean, that couldn't be further from the truth, because the only party that's refusing to release them is Azerbaijan. So, they're the only ones to blame in this, and it's now become an international issue. It's no longer just between Armenia and Azerbaijan. This is actually a serious violation of international humanitarian law. So there's only so much Armenia can do. They're doing everything they can, and now it's up to the international community to exert more pressure so that we can get our POWs home.
So let's come back to the iGorts program. So it was launched in March 2020. It's been a year now. And the program invites diaspora and Armenian specialists to work in Armenia's state institutions. You joined 50 other diaspora and Armenian professionals. What motivated you to be part of this adventure?
Well, I mean, unfortunately, it was the war. And I didn't even know about the iGorts program when I decided to come here. So I was just like, I booked my ticket and I started writing to whoever I knew. I said, put me in touch with the government, put me in touch with the government. I want to be of help, And at some point I was put in touch with the diaspora office, and they said, can you come for a year? We have this program. It would be really great to have you. And I said, oh, a year? I thought it was going to come for a month, And I'm really glad that worked out, because I said, yeah, sure. I mean, they did convince me, though. They said, what do you think you can get done in a month? I'm like, yeah, that's true, not very much. So, it was the war. I mean, I'm a specialist in this particular field, and I wish I wouldn't have to use my skills for something like this in Armenia, but I'm glad I have them, and I'm glad that I can lend them at this crucial time.
So we are located in the government house, and particularly to topics related to human rights right here. And you have a very rich CV. You just talked about your specialty. You worked as a legal officer at the Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights, legal officer to the United Nations International Residual Mechanism for Criminal Tribunals, etc. So what is your job exactly as an advisor here in the Armenian government?
So the majority of my career was as a legal advisor. All of my career was as a legal advisor to senior UN officials, mostly international judges on international criminal cases. So I know the jurisprudence. I mean, I've practically written a lot of it, pretty much. And in that sense, international criminal law, international humanitarian law, which is the laws of war, and human rights law, they're all linked. And I'm here to basically help the government either decide what they want to do, and then once they do decide, especially within this office, which is international legal disputes, I I can help write really persuasive arguments, because cases are not just about who's right or who's telling the truth. It's who can make the most persuasive argument. And I think I'm pretty good at that. So that's what I came to try to help out with.
Okay, and then the last question. You just started your journey here in Armenia, and you will stay for a year. But there are people in the diaspora that are hesitant, who are really as hesitant to come following the war, and also because of the political crisis that is taking place here in Armenia. What would you say to these people who are reluctant or hesitant to come to Armenia?
I mean, I can't speak for anyone, but anyone who knows me knows that I just keep saying, just come, just don't worry about it, it's fine. And it's more than fine, it's actually amazing. I mean, I have been in really, really hard countries, really hard situations, and I thought it was going to be hard here. It's actually really nice, besides the fact that as an Armenian, it's incredible to be in Armenia, and at a time that it couldn't need us more, But it's actually really comfortable and very pleasant. I don't know, I think people have a misconception also of what it's like. It's perfectly safe. And, despite protests, I mean, this is a time of upheaval in this country, and it's great to be a part of it and part of the conversation.
Thank you very much, Sheila, for this talk.
Thank you very much, Ani.
Thank you for watching, and continue to follow CivilNet.